Hello, Twitch! I guess for this inaugural episode, I'm Blazeiwng.
I am Oceanisvaritas.
I am Jasper Vamp Traces.
Hi, I am Kathryn Kosplays. You can also call me Krisha. Hello. Pleasure to be here.
So do we make sure that that the Camarilla is not around? The
Do the visual scan.
anyone got Auspex?
All clear.
Alright, let me roll. I failed. What is the first one? What's the first roll?
Sense the unseen. Oh, it's the rouse check. It's the rouse check.
Jesus Christ!
Don't
oh God,
do
are you
that.
allowed to show that on Twitter?
No, you're not.
We've only been live for 5 minutes!
And already we're breaking rules here, dang.
Hey, we're supposed to be introducing ourselves. Hi.
Hi.
I'm Kath. I'll plug myself. On TikTok, I am Kathryn Kosplays. It is the same on Instagram. It is the same on YouTube and now Twitch. Actually on Twitch, it is Kathryn the Vampire, but I don't know how much twitching I'm gonna be doing. Anyway, I do cosplaying, storyline writing, and now apparently crocheting because a bunch of people followed me for my crochet. And I'm like, this is kind of weird because the other stuff I'm posting is the exact opposite of it. And my special interests in this is I have always loved vampires. I always thought they were extremely interesting. I always loved the anti-hero aspect that someone cursed with such like dangerous or like abilities could use them for good and also could use them to save people that they care about. That's always been something that like I really liked. I also just like when vampires are the villains because they just take it like in a complete Toreador direction where they're just over the top and just like they are the amazing. So yeah, that is me.
Absolutely, I agree. I think that I speak for the both of us when I say that the two of us grew up heavy during the Twilight era as well. It was huge on the scene. And I won't deny that that's a little bit what got me interested in vampires. There's no shame in our beginnings. I feel like I really got into it when I actually read the book Dracula. Also, since I'm a film guy, I have watched Nosferatu and also the original 1930, either 1 or 9, I think it's 31, Bela Lugosi's Dracula.
I will double check for you while you continue.
Yeah. But it's gonna be something strange. It's gonna be like 36 or something.
You were right, 31.
31!
Hell yeah.
Are you kidding me? Yeah, that's Charlie and that's Oscar. They like to scream. That's also a personality trait of mine because I can't help it. It's a compulsion. I'd make those sounds. I have a very analytical mind, and vampire stories are very complex because there is always a layer of this is a person who essentially either kills people or takes something very important from them. And to be able to empathize with those beings is and even root for them, you have to really, really defend your characters. So you have to write well. Or else your story ends up a little bit like Twilight. And that's all from me, I think.
So, hi, I am Oceanisvaritas on TikTok as well as on Discord, but I'm also, I think I'm also on all my social medias, including YouTube. Nobody looks at my YouTube, okay? I am absolutely a vampire fanatic. I'm a real life vampire. I live the lifestyle. I am a Psy vamp, and I tend to go through a lot of stuff. I have gone through pop culture. I have read books that were meant for college essays, including a lot of research in regards to people that are fictional as well as non-fictional, including Don Henry as being one of the people. I have been blessed with mentors throughout my life that some of them are not even here anymore. I've been in the community both, for about 20 years now. I've been a part of the lifestyle since I was 5, meaning the lifestyle of vampirism. I knew about my vampirism at the age of 5, which a lot of people think, oh, how did that happen? Well, a lot of trauma. So as it stands, I've been deeply influenced by pop culture as well as the learnings of our society and how it all works and combines into things. I have quite an extensive knowledge base of different movies, books, mangas, TV series, cartoons, and, music, all regarding around the subject matter of vampirism. And folklore. A lot of folklore.
Oh yeah. They go hand in hand, really.
There's been, some of the bigger well-known stuff, I think there is not a single person who doesn't know who, Bram Stoker's Dracula is. Then there's, of course, exactly. Then there is the more historical tales of Vlad Tepes, who is based off of that, who is the inspiration of that book, along with Elizabeth Bathory, who happened to be a countess that ended up bathing in Vitae and whatnot. We'll say the red icky sticky. There's a lot in regards to what I know. A lot of the stuff I think we've covered over things of what makes a vampire, what makes a vampire different from any other fictional creature and non-fictional creature. Blaze, welcome back.
Thank you. Sorry about that. So, I'm Blazeiwng. I am what you call a real-life vampire. And I am absolutely obsessed. My goals going into this is basically to become an expert in vampire media of all kinds. I want to be... I'm just going to plug myself here and my goals and aspirations for a sec. My go-to for this project is to be the go-to person if somebody wants to know about vampire media, books, TV shows, movies, games. You want to know about it? Go talk to Blaze. That's basically my objective. I want to get to know the ins and the outs. I want to dissect everything. I am absolutely obsessed. And I do run my own VTM table at the moment. We're playing V5. So, actually, Ocean's one of my assistant storytellers, and Kathryn Kosplays is one of my tormented souls. Players.
Participants.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Totally not blinking twice.
I'm really excited for this, and I hope whoever's listening at whatever time, I really, really hope that you manage to pull something out of this, or maybe you learned something that you didn't know before, or, there's something of value and substance there for you.
I suppose we should ask, Blaze, what is your favorite vampire movie of all time? If you had to hands down, what one is your favorite?
You want to know what my favorite vampire movie of all time is? That's a tough one. So I have a few that I like for a few different reasons. However, when it comes to vampire movies, I generally look for The vibes. I'm very particular about my vibes when it comes to vampire movies in order for it to hit that spot. I also go by the bloodier the better. The more gore, the more violence, the more I'm intrigued. But that being said, gratuitous violence isn't just, all that needs to be there. There has to be like actual substance to it.
Yeah.
But I do get very, very particular about my vampire media.
I think we all do.
I get that.
I mean, some of my favorites include like From Dusk Till Dawn with George Clooney.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, I can't remember I don't remember the actor's name, but he played Dracula, Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Gary Oldman?
Gary Oldman, yeah, that one. I've traveled the oceans of time to find you. That one. I also like the campier ones, like, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the movie. If we all know how campy that one is. Although From Dusk Till Dawn was just as campy.
Buffy the movie did not age well, unfortunately.
It didn't.
There's some language in that movie, just saying.
Oh yeah.
Disclaimer that we do not support all things that happen in vampire movies, because some of them are bad.
I want to put the times here. We do not condone it now. What used to be considered the social norm then. Was it wrong? Yes.
It was wrong then, and it's wrong. It's wrong now, and it was wrong then. It's just our perceptions of what was right and wrong have changed over time to reflect more modern standards. We are here to discuss it. We are not here to, to say whether or not it was right. We are not here to be judge, jury, and executioner. We are here specifically to discuss the media.
Well, we're not here with stakes anymore?
No.
Throw your stakes out.
And we do recognize that there are certain things within a lot of the older genre, within the older movies and media in the genre, that can be extremely problematic.
Especially with, like, say,
100-year-old vampire dating high school student, just saying.
That's true. They got you there.
Twilight.
Yeah.
Fucking...
It's also a matter of, a lot of times, vampires will be a substitute for another social group.
So, Goob, introduce yourself, plug your socials, and tell us what vampire media interests you.
Hello, my name is Goob. I should say my TikTok username is amelia.creed. My Instagram is jammin.goober, and other stuff are coming my way. But my favorite type of media for vampires, I love, okay, so for movie wise, I freaking love, my favorite vampire movie is the Van Helsing from, I think it's 2011, with what's his name? I can't remember the actor's name, but I
Hugh Jackman.
love that movie. Yes, Hugh Jackman.
2004.
Yes, thank you. I love that movie to bits. I love how the theoretical, the how they run the scenes, how they explain through the clips of like histories and how this goes in play. And even though it's it's a movie standpoint, I've always loved how they depict vampires. And I would say my second favorite movie is actually Interview with the Vampire, because hell yes. But yeah, that is my favorite media.
So, what makes a vampire for you guys?
Drinking blood.
I have to say, fangs. Either they're retractable or regular teeth. I need fangs from a vampire. I'm sorry, it's just like I don't need the Buffy the Vampire Slayer like whole like face change, but fangs are a must for me.
You may not like Near Dark then, just saying.
Okay. So I suppose with vampirism in general, I look at the predator prey scenario. It's one of my favorites. The dynamic between the victim and the vampire is a unique dynamic. It is very romanticized. I think that a lot of it comes down to our thoughts and processes of those that have the power to destroy us but doesn't. The idea that they are not always an evil creature, but in history have been vilified by a lot of things, and through the undead demeanors of transcendence of death is also something that intrigues me regarding vampirism in that nature. Some of the movies that have been discussed are absolutely parts of the same thing. You know, you see with Interview with a Vampire, you see with Anne Rice's Lestat, of how they came to be. One of my favorites about all that is that with just about anything, they describe a vampire as being an undead creature that transcends, death and is animated and continues in existence of moral and emotional decay, which is also very prominent. Fangs are a thing. Drinking of the life blood is a thing, or the vitae. I feel that unnatural powers is also a thing to put in for vampirism. There's some specifics that that meet the criteria of what a vampire is.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of modern adaptations of vampires have started cutting out like the being undead part, and seeing vampire as just essentially being like a monster that is different from humanity. And you also see that a lot in like I know this is super cheesy, but like animes and stuff where it's like a bloodline of like this is the vampire royalty, and it's like okay. But I feel like that's a part of it that is kind of important, because if you're there needs to be a reason why you're just going around sipping on people. You know what I mean?
I mean,
And vampires need to uh represent something. Like back in the original Dracula, the man Dracula was just a stand-in for the fear of the other, right? Where it was everybody else in that book is either English or like American, in case of one character whose name I forgot. And they're all like people of high society, or like they're just regular guys. But Dracula is this eccentric man from Transylvania who the first 4 chapters are about him being homoerotic with a man. Like it's it's completely different, especially considering that book was published in like 1897. So there needs to be some sort of substance behind why are you making this character a vampire? What does that vampire stand for?
I love the concept of, and I know this is media vampire, and I'm not saying I'm putting it separate to real life vampirism, but I love the concept of immortality for how intricate it is of how it becomes. Yeah, in through the movies, well, you have this vampire that gets turned, or you have this person that gets turned, and they lose all sense of their mortal life, their mortality, their humanity. And even though there's some points that yes, they might still have some humanity in them, it's like a complex thing to where it's a confliction where you might get your humanity, or you might still have a sliver of humanity, but like, how does that coincide with your immortal life? How you've seen through the years, how you learned through the years, how you drank blood through the years, and how that goes throughout your mind, saying this is wrong, but it's right. At the same time, it's you are your survival. You're doing this for your survival, and the immortality concept gives a great look of how you have to, as if you were thinking as like a vampire, if you were thinking through the media of a vampire, and how you have to coincide with that, and taking a life, be able to survive while being immortal and having no humanity.
Yeah, well put.
I agree. Absolutely. 100%. So, what draws you guys into it? What's the appeal? Why? Basically, why are you here?
Well, for one thing, I love movies. Second of all, I feel like all of us here have a distinct otherness to us. We're not, we are. There is comfort in the unknown for certain people, especially, and when you are faced with these, especially these anti-heroes, as Kathryn put it, they appeal to people who are like, who have been told that something that they do is wrong, but or something that they are is wrong. But you are being told like other people have the same problems as you. Like maybe not you, maybe you don't, have supernatural powers or anything, but there are people who are dealing with the moral side of that, where you are othered, and you find comfort in that. I find comfort in it, certainly.
I love the lore behind different aspects of like different cultures, different like lore in general about vampires, and how it describes throughout history of like through books or through just movies that people make through fiction, or just if it's documented, or just anything that they're like, this is fascinating because I mean this is the lore, even though it it gives the perspective of the unknown. It gives the perspective of the what if, or the lore behind it, if this happened in history, or it's just the concept of how, like, through movies of vampire, it just seemed fascinating to me, and it how it was kind of like, well, could you wrap your head around it? You could understand a lot of the explanations of people explaining to you about it, but it would just be like, well, what if, like, if it's just putting yourself in that shoes, but at the same time you physically can't in movies. But it's fascinating to do that through different concepts. If you have a living vampire, then that's completely different, and that's still an amazing thing to explore and to understand and know the knowledge behind it, which is fantastic to learn. I think that's why I would yeah.
All right, so I guess I'll go next. The allure when presented to this discussion, this topic, this aspect, the allure to me was to be able to get out not only the stories of what we know and love as a pop culture and subculture and all this, is that vampirism at its heart, at its core, is the antithesis to the social norms. It is essentially the breakdown of society as a whole. If we were to go into taking what would be considered society and what is considered popular and amazing and acceptable, vampirism was a way to be socially acceptable because it had that mystique, the mystery, the things that go against the grain of the norm of what would be considered mainstream. It is the antithesis of mainstream media in all aspects, from the dark and morbid to death, talking about very, very vital things that we as a society in mainstream at the time, it was taboo to talk about, such as, homosexuality. The LGBTQIA is hugely involved with vampirism, as read by Bram Stoker's version of it, which this was big, very controversial topics that now were presented in such a way that we could imbibe it without feeling like we're being judged. Some of the other things regarding it is this took on a lifestyle of kind of a romance aspect as well, especially with Anne Rice's switching gears from her erotica novellas to vampirism. With Lestat, there was always a sexuality to it. There was always a sense of understanding. I think what really draws me is just that against the grain rebellion of mainstream society, that it's okay to be able to be different. And it opened up as being considered this monster, and then it evolved over time. There were good vampires, there were bad vampires. There were things that you tried to get that story. You were figuring out why this monster is the way this monster is. How did he become this monster? Why did he become this monster? That kind of same situation. So the allure for me is really the eye-opening of kind of what was considered taboo now is not.
So, I find quote unquote monsters absolutely fascinating. I think this just goes down to I love asking people questions to understand how their brains work, because it just like fascinates me. And the one thing about, and I'm gonna use the prop, like Bram Stoker's Dracula, that's so fascinating is that we get literally everyone's point of view except Dracula's in the entirety of the story. So like, I guess that's what makes it so thrilling, is because like you don't know what he's going to do next because you don't have his perspective. But I just find people's choices absolutely fascinating. I find that internal struggle with the more with the vampires who really struggle with their vampirism and struggle with like letting in that darkness. That is so fascinating to me. And also just exactly what Jasper said, like it and also basically going off what everyone said, the folklore, how every single civilization has a vampire-esque like folklore or story. I love monsters. I love what goes on in their brains. I think that's why I love Vampire the Masquerade so much, is because literally in real time you watch these monsters think about their actions, why they're doing it, and then go ahead. Unless you're me, and then you literally panic for 10 minutes, and then you have to make a decision, and you get DM'd. Are you sure about that? So, yeah. Are you sure about that?
Bro, it's
That was
okay. Yesterday in my D&D session, someone lost an arm. It's that's just how it is.
If it makes it feel better, I could always go on the aspect of the only reason why I like vampires because I like being broody and pasty white, and I like my black makeup.
Yeah.
I have fun fact about me. I collect different editions of Bram Stoker's Dracula because they make it so beautiful. This is actually one of the first This is actually one of the first editions that was printed in the United States. So this book is 100 years old.
Ooh.
It's very near and dear to me. But all of them, my vampire shelf is literally that shelf right there. And I also have a ton of other books from both small and large authors. Like, it's just I am just fascinated with the way people think, and then also having the aspect of there's literally a monster in your head being like, I'm very hungry and I want to eat everyone.
Okay, so
yeah.
To be fair, that's actually flavor text for me when it comes to VTM. The conversations that you guys have with your inner beasts, that's not technically a VTM thing. That is all flavor text from me. That gives you guys a chance to explore situations in a way that you wouldn't normally get to explore.
I just love how every time you have to clarify, like, it's not a separate thing from you. It's you. You are the beast. And then me, I'm like petting it on the head, like, oh, you cute little thing. We'll get you a snack. It's okay.
It's like when you talk about the beast in VTM, I'm like, the intrusive thoughts have succeeded.
Oh my god. I just love how it was like, I almost killed all of my humanity, and then y'all were like, you want to try that again?
Hey, I came close to making you wassail, okay? I came like this close.
The problem is, every time you say wassail, I think of that meme of the cat jumping to sail on like that like classic YouTube meme.
Oh yeah.
Like sail, and so now I'm like wassail now I just want to do it.
So, you guys keep talking. I'll be back in a sec.
Alright. So all I get when that happens is I get that same thing. I'm like, wassail away, wassail away, wassail away.
Yeah.
The Orinoco flow.
For those of
I think of the drink of wassail. Like wassail, wassail, over the town. Just I'm like, the drink.
For those of you in our audience or listening who do not know, basically in VTM you have a humanity track, basically of 10, and you start when you're turned into a vampire. You usually start with 7. I started with 8 because I'm fancy like that. Anyway, and through actions where you give in to your beast or you do something that's really against your character, you lose points of humanity. When you finally get to 0 humanity, that means that it is just a beast going nuts. There's no longer a conscience, and they have to be put down because they will literally just kill people unless other vampires take it down. And I started VTM with 8, and I'm down to 5 humanity because I keep doing stupid shit. Literally, I thought that something was a metaphor, and like, oh, this is a metaphor. So I made a choice, and then I was quickly told, no, that wasn't a metaphor, and you just lost a point of humanity. Like, I literally made a meme where it was like this is SpongeBob, I'm ready, and Sandy going, no, you ain't. And I put me thinking it was a metaphor. I'm ready. The storytellers, no, it ain't.
No, you're right.
But
Oh.
just like monsters in general just fascinate me, and also like I am, as a lot of you know, like I write storyline of my own universe of vampires, and just like I just love going into like the technicality of it, because it's like, oh, this is a story about magical creatures. It shouldn't be that deep. But those details of like the origins and how things came to be, and then tying in folklore from different cultures, just make it awesome, because it's those tiny details and those creative things that just make it awesome. So, yeah.
I'm going to actually ask, do you guys have a favorite folklore vampire? Because
Folklore.
my favorite are like the little goblins that drink blood. Those are funny. I
Goblins
don't
that drink
remember which
blood.
culture they're from,
Are they
but
What
red
was-
caps?
Wait, what was the question again?
Favorite folklore vampire.
Oh, okay.
Are you talking about red caps from like, you know,
I don't think so.
And Hinky
they
Punks?
they dip their caps in blood and wear it.
No. That's cool.
that they
So
they
that's-
are.
But wouldn't it turn brown? Wouldn't
No,
it
no.
oxidize?
They
That's-
continually.
That-
No, they.
That's
they
a hell of
dip
a thing to
every-
come back to.
They dip every day, man.
They do.
Oh.
They dip every day.
Fresh dip. It's like they're talking about their nails, like fresh dip. Like,
There's a reason why a red cap's hair is red, and it's not natural.
that's nuts. Oh my god. Wait.
That's also coming from like changeling and everything. It is such a creature. Oh man, it's a totally different can of worms we don't even want to get to opening up yet.
Wait. Oh, this is blood folklore, but not vampire. Can I still say it anyway?
No. Yeah, of course.
Go for it.
No, it's like the fact that it's believed that red carnations got their color because they grew on a battlefield after a bloody battle happened. Like that's the folklore. And that's
think-
why like,
Ugh.
that's why red carnations are so associated with war and battle, because of that. Like they are believed to have gotten their red color because they grew on a battlefield post battle.
I think that's poppies too, but don't quote me on that.
Poppies or carnations, I can't remember. It's probably poppies. But anyway, that's why
The
it's such a symbol of war, is because of that, and that is nuts.
The reason I say that
That's
is
right.
because every Remembrance Day, for you guys probably be, I think Memorial Day is what you call it, it's tradition to wear a poppy for like the first half of November.
It's a poppy, I'm sorry. I
is
thought it was a
poppy.
carnation, it's a poppy.
Do you
It's
want to
kinda-
know why I know that? It's because in Stardew Valley, poppies are a hated gift.
Just kind of circling back around, putting us back on track. What else do we have for questions in regards to, I guess, vampire media?
We had one where it was what constitutes vampire media? Because like there are a lot of shows and movies and stuff that have vampires in them, but they
Yeah.
aren't really vampire media. You know what I mean? Where
Or
it's like,
there's movie series that seems to think it's vampire based, but in reality
oh
isn't.
my god.
I think in order for it to constitute as a vampire film, there has to be like the main character and the main struggle
Yeah.
has to be like, you can have a vampire movie and the main character is not a vampire, but like I think the main plot line has to involve a vampire issue.
Yeah.
So,
Like that's the thing for me. Like Van Helsing I consider a vampire movie because it involves like Dracula's trying to take over the world, so obviously that.
so back in 2009, there is a movie that's known as Daybreakers.
Yeah.
A very good movie. Although I wouldn't put in, like, say, Chronicles of Riddick, because they say they're vampires, but they're not vampires. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
understand.
So while there's things like, where Bram Stoker's Dracula, where the main antagonist is a vampire, you look at Vampire Hunter D, where it's a half vampire, a Dhampir versus a vampire. Yeah, like was said, I mean, even with Blade being a Dhampir as well, going after vampires is also one that I would say. Van Helsing is a vampire movie. I suppose
Yes.
by technicality, Twilight is a vampire movie.
It counts as a technicality.
As a technicality.
You're on thin fucking ice.
Stephanie
it's a
Meyer, I'm
technicality.
coming to your house.
We're on thin
In
ice
Minecraft.
right now. You're crossing the line.
And I don't think just the imbibing of Vitae or the red sticky icky is technically constitute as being a vampire movie, if that makes sense. Take, for example, Vikings and cannibalism. You wouldn't consider those vampire movies.
Cannibalism. Yep.
Yeah, cannibalism doesn't count as being vampirism. Perfect Creature is a perfect example of a vampire movie.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say something like in games. I'll go with games because they're a bit more. I wouldn't call Skyrim a vampire game.
Yeah.
It has vampires
Even though you
in
can
it.
be a vampire.
Exactly. Even though you're a vampire in it, it is not necessarily a vampire game. Take into account of how zombies will eat people or something like that. You have to make the distinction that this is a highly attuned predator that thirsts for the life source, that has fangs, that has powers to persuade, who has, supernatural flaws and merits to them that make them a vampire.
Yeah, as much as
Whereas,
I wanted to suggest it, I don't think Jennifer's Body is a vampire movie, which makes me upset.
I think she's a succubus.
I thought she was like a demon of some, like a.
She is a demon, but
it's such a good movie, though.
It's so good. You guys all know Baldur's Gate 3.
mm-hmm.
Do you think that's vampire media? Because
No.
I mean, Asterion is probably my favorite. But this is also a good question. I'll come back to it. Asterion is probably one of my favorite vampires in recent years. Spoilers for the first 15 minutes of Baldur's Gate 3. Asterion's a vampire.
I saw somewhere that like Asterion was a perfect combination of like Lestat level sass with like I think they compared it to like either Gary Oldman's Dracula, like that gentleman charismaticness to him. Yeah. Like that, I was like, yes, I agree with this.
There's also a heap of trauma involved.
So
can you be into vampire media or a vampire person without a little bit of space trauma?
So here's
how I look. Here's how I look at things like that. It is not the main focus. It is not the main goal. He is a perfect supporting character, absolutely, or a minor boss if you really wanted to go that direction. I'm sure.
Or you can play as him.
Or you can play as him, but you're still not. It's still considered a D&D game. What makes a vampire story a vampire story is when the beginning and end starts and ends with a vampire. Whether it's you're a protagonist and you're a vampire, or the antagonist, the main antagonist is a vampire. Like I said, it has to meet criteria Like, for example, it can't be a demon that feeds on blood. It can't be any other. It can't be any other supernatural creature. It
Well-
is specified to what it is.
That brings up another question. What constitutes a vampire versus what constitutes a demon? Because don't forget, if we're going specifically by Buffy lore, Buffy the Vampire Slayer vampires are essentially demons, just diluted demon blood.
Mhm.
Right. And if you even it does allude that they are agents of demons in a lot of ways. It's the reason why you see a lot of, like, the Right. Take the Right, for example. Or not the Right. Priest, I think is what it's called. Apologies. Priest.
Yes, 2011. That's the one.
Yeah. Which is the same guy that plays in The Knight's Tale as Geoffrey Chaucer. I can't remember his name. But that actor plays in there, and he's fighting his brother because his brother ends up becoming essentially these alien vampires. That being said, it goes back to a dark evil. Supposedly, a dark evil is what creates them, whether or not it's innately in them or if it's passed down through a virus or through some sort of embrace, that kind of thing.
Isn't the Black Batman the hybrid? I think.
I don't know. Like, take Underworld, for example. Underworld has it to it being, we are the oldest of these beings, and we had enslaved the werewolves.
Underworld's got its own set of issues.
It does.
Oh, yeah.
I think by the third movie they were a little bit, going, now what do we do?
They fucked that series over with the last movie. I'm sorry.
They did.
This is our inaugural episode. We're literally just sitting here shooting the shit, and I'm wondering if people would like to know what our lineup for season 1 is. Because yes, we are doing seasons. We do have our season 1 media picked out. Let me go ahead and just pull that up quickly. We have decided we are going to be doing a total of 10 episodes for season 1, and then we might take a couple of weeks off and do like a couple of weeks break, and kind of either catch up on media or figure out what we're doing for season 2 and all of that shit. So we're going to be breaking things up a little bit. We've decided we're going to be doing 10 episodes altogether for season 1. So this is, for all intents and purposes, episode 1. It's our episode 0, effectively. But we're calling it episode 1, just an introduction, kind of lighthearted discussion. What is, hi, this is us. Enjoy us in all of our glory, and welcome to whatever chaos or whatever shit show ensues from this podcast kind of deal. Episode 2, we are going to be watching Dracula, Dead and Loving It with Leslie Nielsen. And I'm sorry to anybody who doesn't like Leslie Nielsen, but that was the best adaptation of Dracula I have ever seen, because it's just so off the fucking wall. Like, it's not even close to fucking serious. Who here has not seen it?
I have not seen it. I am very excited.
Oh my god!
I'm sorry. Okay.
Nobody else has
not
seen it.
I'm the only one that's seen it?
Well, this
I
is
thought-
going to be a ride.
I'll be dead honest. Hearing just the title alone, it sounds super campy.
Have you ever seen any
yeah.
of Leslie
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever seen any of Leslie Nielsen's other work? Like, was it fucking Naked Gun or Airplane?
Have you ever seen
I
any
love
Dracula?
Airplane. It's one of my favorite movies.
Okay.
Have you
so if
ever
you-
seen the
Dracula-
Dracula adaptation? They're all camp.
They are.
So
They're
if you
strict
take-
camp.
If you take Airplane, but Dracula,
Oh, beautiful.
yeah,
So-
right? So
So we're gonna get some old lady speaking jive.
not quite. However, there are moments there that are going to stick with you for the rest of your life. For instance,
My-
when I'm in a voice chat, the GIF I like to post of the vampire rising out of the coffin and like smacking his head on the chandelier, that is directly from the movie.
Yes, I have
Great.
seen
Oh.
that.
Okay.
Oh man, we gotta watch it. Fair.
So that
Are
we're
we?
gonna be doing that next week. So
So
Yay!
episode 3, the ever classic Carmela. Episode 4, we're going to be watching and reviewing and talking about Queen of the Damned. Because, yeah, I mean, a lot of people didn't like Queen of the Damned. I loved it. I love the soundtrack, and don't get me wrong, like, the soundtrack saved that movie, I think. But as a standalone vampire movie, I think Queen of the Damned could have actually done pretty well if it hadn't been like an Anne Rice thing. It could have been like really fucking cool. Episode 5, the time-honored Lost Boys, because who doesn't love some good Lost Boys? We have decided that we are not doing all 3 Lost Boys movies, at least not right now. We might get into the others later on down the line, but we are at least doing the first because Lost Boys, face it, it's a cult classic. And if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend. So you'll be able to follow us with that for week 5. Episode 6, What We Do in the Shadows, the movie. If you've seen the TV series, this is the movie the series was based off of.
So good.
Enjoy the shit out of that. Episode 7, and this is what I'm really excited for. Midnight Mass episodes 1 and 2. This is a short series, a short Netflix series, but we're going to be doing Midnight Mass episodes 1 and 2. Episode 8, we're going to be doing Midnight Mass episodes 3, 4, and 5. And episode 9, we're going to be doing Midnight Mass episodes 6 and 7 to cover that entire series. And then for episode 10, we are doing an old 1980s film called Near Dark. Warning, Near Dark was made in the 1980s. It doesn't exactly hold up in certain spots, so just be aware of that.
Yeah.
The graphics aren't all that great. Like the special effects, I mean, it's 1980s. What are you going to do? But it is also very much blood and gore and has some very heavy themes to it. Like very heavy and dark themes. So if that's not your taste, like, but that is
I definitely recommend if anybody watching this wants to also watch these things with us, like make sure you go. There's a wonderful website called Does the Dog Die? If you look up the movie in there, they'll have a list of different trigger warnings for the movie. Different things that you might not want to see in there. Essentially, just keep yourself safe, keep yourself informed.
So that's a breakdown of our season 1, and then for season 2, we have no idea what the fuck we're doing yet. But the reason we're kind of putting this out there is so you guys can follow along with us, you guys can join us, you guys can watch the movies with us. We're going to be watching them on, I think, Wednesdays, and then we're going to be talking about them on Mondays. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining me on this adventure. I think this is going to be fucking wild, not going to lie. I'm excited for the conversations we're going to have. I'm excited for the media we're going to be watching. I'm excited for the friendships we're going to develop, and I'm excited to bring our audience in the Twitch chat along with us. I don't know what the future's going to hold. There is every possibility this could blow up in our face. But I want you guys to have fun. Enjoy fun as we kind of move through. I want you guys to enjoy the ride. I'm so glad I'm so glad that, this happened.
Same.
Any closing thoughts from people?
I have one, but I want to do it last.
We out here.
We drink it out.
We officially, fuck it, we ballin'.
Yeah.
Officially.
Are you ready?
I'm
for mine?
extremely. I'll also say, extremely interested to figure out how our comedic styles align, because That is going to be an adventure.
All of our neurospiciness in one pot is going to be very interesting to witness.
I
It's
agree.
literally shenanigan. It's gonna be like, because of how much the start of this stream was so a little unstable right there. And I was just like, listen, it's like you just got it's a SMSR. It's a SM whatever R for me driving. I'm just like, yeah guys, it's like we're doing this. It's like this is totally by mistake.
All right,
Hold on.
all right.
Oh,
Wrap us out, Ocean.
All right.
what do you got?
So this was Masquerade Breach podcast. Don't tell the Camarilla. And if they don't know, is it really a Masquerade Breach?
So, at this point, this is going to be it for episode 1. Our next episode is going to be Dracula, Dead and Loving It. We're going to be having a discussion on the ever-classic Leslie Nielsen, and I cannot wait to introduce the other 4 here to it. I can't wait to watch the reactions. I guess
Oh yeah.
for Masquerade Breach, I'm Blazeiwng.
I'm Jasper.
Kathryn.
Goob.
And Oceanisvaritas.
And we will see you guys next episode. Stay thirsty, my friends.